Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing the second part of my Q&A video. I'll link part 1 down below if you haven't watched it yet and you want to, and I'm gonna jump right in. So question number 1, is there a book or series that you could just not finish? So the first one to pop in my head is actually the Divergent series. I really enjoyed the first book and I've tried to pick up the second book probably about 3 or 4 times and I just can never get through it. I don't know what the issue is, but I just cannot seem to finish this series. Next question is, what are your other hobbies? I run my book blog as well and I write a lot. I really like writing and I'm kind of working on a book. And I video game a lot with my friends. We all play like PC computer games because we're nerds like that. And I enjoy watching movies and TV shows. I'm really not that interesting at all. Like, I just kind of do basic boring stuff. Next question is, what is your dream job? Probably to be an author. Like, if I made enough money off of writing and books that is what I could do every day, I would love that. I would love that so much. Next question is, what is your favorite book of 2015 so far? Oh my goodness, I don't even know how I could pick that. I've read so many great ones. I automatically want to say Queen of Shadows because I love the Throne of Glass series so much, but I don't know if that one's my favorite. You know, I honestly don't know if I could pick off the top of my head. I did do a video of my top books of 2015 so far, which if I remember I'll link below, but I don't know if I could pick. I'm gonna have to at the end of the year, but I don't know. Next question is, if you ever got stranded on an island and could only choose 2 books to bring with you, what would they be and why? Well, I'd probably bring like a manual of like how to live on an island, because I'm definitely not like a survivalist sort of girl. And then I would probably bring... I'm furiously trying to think if they have like all the Harry Potter books in one like big book that I could bring, but I don't know. If they had that, I would definitely bring that, but otherwise I would probably just pick like a book full of different stories maybe, so I could read something different instead of just like one book, you know what I mean? Next question is, what is your ultimate NOTP, which is basically like your least favorite pairing? I genuinely don't know for this one. Like, I'm furiously thinking and I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. When I read The Hunger Games, I really hated Katniss with Gale. Like, with a fiery passion, I hated them. And I don't know. That's about all I can really think of. I'm trying to think of any like pairings that I've hated, but I don't know, maybe I'll do like a discussion about that and think about it more and do like a separate video on pairings I don't like, because I can't think of one. Next question is, what do you do when a friend gives you a book and you don't like it? I don't think that's ever happened to me actually. I usually get books from my friends for Christmas, but they'll ask for like my Amazon wishlist or like a list of books so they can pick without me actually knowing like which one it is. My parents do the same. And the few books I got for Christmas from people that I don't really know, like, you know, like friends over BookTube and stuff, they were all books that they knew I wanted or thought I would like to read, or, you know, I don't think I've ever received a book as a present that I really didn't like. Next question is, what is your favorite book? Another one that I really couldn't pick. I'm the type of person that reads whatever I'm in the mood for, and I go through favorite books like pairs of socks. I mean, I'm just constantly changing them. I don't really have like an ultimate favorite book. If you could read any book or series over for the first time, which would you choose and why? I would definitely probably pick Harry Potter, because when I read the first couple Harry Potters, I was so young that it didn't have the impact that I feel it would have today of me going, this is literary like gold. This is absolute like perfection. And I would love to have the experience of rereading the Harry Potter books for the first time over again, just because they're so amazing. But at this point I've read them so many times that it's like putting on a warm blankie, you know, like I know exactly how it goes, but I just love it. I love it, but it's definitely not anything new. Next question is, which foreign languages would you like to speak and why? I would love to learn like every language if I could. I took 2 years of German in high school. I'm not very good at it. I kind of have like mouth problems. Like, I didn't take Spanish because I can't like roll my R's or anything like that. Like, I can't really make my mouth cooperate most of the time. And I tried to teach myself Latin for a while, and then Welsh, which Welsh is just the worst thing ever. So I know a little bit of like Latin. Like, I can't speak it, but I can read certain things. And that's about it. So I would love to learn just about every language if I could. I know realistically I couldn't, but I would love to be able to speak multiple languages fluently. Next question is, what is your least favorite book trope? Oh my goodness. I would probably have to go with love triangles and insta-loves. I hate both of those. I mean, they just drive me crazy. Love triangles can be slightly more acceptable, but insta-love to me is almost unforgivable. Like, I hate more than anything when characters know each other for like 2 days and they're like, oh, I love you, starry eyes. You know, like, bleh, I can't stand it. It is so unrealistic. Next question is, if you could invite 5 authors over to dinner, who would they be and what questions would you ask them? I don't know. I would probably pick 5 of my favorite authors that I think are, like, have really well-written books, and I would probably just ask them anything and everything about being an author and how you, like, write a book. Coming from somebody who's, you know, still fairly young and trying to write a book, it can be very frustrating sometimes, and it can be really discouraging because you just get that feeling like, I'm never going to be as great as so-and-so. But everybody starts somewhere, so I'd love to have a discussion with how they overcame those challenges and how they got to the point where they knew their story was finished and perfect. Next question is, if you could be any fictional character for a day, who would you be and why? You know what? I would maybe want to be Eragon. I know he's a boy, so weird, but I would love to just ride Saphira, just a big blue dragon, through all of Algasia and just like stop and visit all the different places. And I don't know, I really would love to ride a dragon. I would really love that. So maybe Eragon, and he's pretty cool. Like, I don't know how I'd feel about being a boy, but if it's just for a day, why not? Next question is, if you could pick any 2 characters from any book to be in a relationship together, who would they be? And each one has to be from a different book. Oh my goodness, matchmaking. I'm not cut out to be a matchmaker. I'm desperately peeking to look for something. It would be kind of funny to put Selena Sardothien with Jace from the Mortal Instruments, just because I feel like the 2 of them would have like a sass-off competition. Like, can you imagine the horrible sassy things they would say to each other? And I feel like the 2 of them would just constantly stroke each other's and themselves egos, like just constantly. I feel like they would be the most vain, hilarious, like jerk couple of all time, and it just sounds funny to me. Like, they definitely would not be a good couple together, but it would be pretty funny. Next question is, will you marry me? Sorry, I don't think I'm quite ready to settle down and get married yet, but you could always try to change my mind by sending me tons of books. Next question is, what are your favorite book covers of all time? Oh my gosh. These are evil questions. I love the Throne of Glass covers. I think they're super cool how, like, on one side you have, like, the badass Selena, and then on the other side you have, like, her from the back, usually in some sort of fancy outfit. I also really like the Grisha trilogy covers. I think those are super cool, and I love the Lunar Chronicle ones. Those are awesome. I don't know. I like too many covers. That's an evil question. I couldn't pick. Next question is, how important is cover design for you when buying books? I try not to judge by a book's cover, but sometimes you really can't help it. And if I'm like out with my family and there's a book I want, but the cover is super ugly, or like some cheesy, like, romantic mass market paperback, usually I'll kind of save that to, like, order online and get it secretly in the mail later. But most of the time, it's not a big deal to me. Next question is, what is your favorite book setting? I'm not going to go specific, I'm going to go really, like, broad with this. Any sort of really well-developed fantasy world. Like, I'm not talking, like, cookie-cutter fantasy, I'm talking, like, mythology, different lands, different places, different races. I love a really, really good, intense, huge fantasy world. Next question is, who is your all-time favorite male character in a book? Probably Percy Jackson. I really, really, really love Percy Jackson. Like, he's spot on. I would marry him in a heartbeat, and I love his, like, funny dialogue and how he's such a dork, but he's got, like, a heart of gold, and he's so brave and loyal, and I love him. I really love him. Next question is, what is your reading time and place? Mostly I read whenever I can, but I prefer to read kind of later in the day. I like reading more when it's like colder or darker outside, but when it's fall, I'll read whenever. And I either will read in bed, or I have one of those really awesome papasan chairs, like the bowl chairs. Oh my god, I love that thing. So I have that in my room, and usually I'll read in that too, because I have the nice little footstool I can prop my feet up on, and I love my papasan. Next question is, if you could choose 5 book characters to go on a road trip with, which would they be and why? Okay, I'm just gonna pick 5 characters I love and think would be fun to be around. So I would love to go with Celaena Sardothien, Percy Jackson. I almost said Hermione, but I feel like Ron would be more fun. Ooh, or Fred and George. Can I count Fred and George as one person? I think I'm gonna count them as one. Fred and George. I'd probably have to bring along sassy Jace. Oh, and maybe Gansey from the Raven Boys. I really like him, and I feel like he'd be tons of fun to, like, hang out with. Ooh, or Ronan. I don't know. Ronan might be a little too intense for me. Like, he might try to, like, race and, like, crash the car and, like, kill us all. So maybe Gansey. I think I'd go with Gansey. Next question is, what is your favorite new adult book? So by my understanding, new adult is like young adult but more adulty, so maybe like more sex and more like swearing and more like adultish, and the characters might be a little bit older, like early 20s-ish. I'm not quite sure, but I believe that A Court of Thorns and Roses is considered new adult because it's a little bit more graphic sexual wise, and I think the main character is a little bit older, so I think that's considered new adult. I hope so. I'm kind of confused by the new adult thing, to be honest. Next question is, how do you balance reading, your studies, and your work? Basically, I just always make sure that I have time for reading. Like, I'll go crazy if all I'm doing is working and going to school. You have to have time in your life for the things that you love. So I always plan like crazy. I'm a huge, like, planner girl. Like, I've got my daily planner, like, week planner. I mean, I plan it out, so I always have time to do the things I love so I don't go crazy. Next question is, do you have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have one younger brother and one older sister. Next question is, what advice do you have for someone who wants to start a booktube channel? Basically, don't be afraid, like, to go for it, you know? And don't be afraid to be yourself. When I first started making videos, I was really nervous, and I, like, watched a bunch of videos of people to see, like, how they acted, what kind of their thing was, and I tried to, like, channel my inner, like, booktube star, so I felt like I was doing things that people liked. But that's not why you should make a booktube channel. You should make one because you want to be yourself and you want to share books and things that you love, you know, reading. So for me, I kind of just slowly got used to the whole camera thing, got used to, like, talking and being myself. And I got over my fear of sharing my opinions. I was nervous that if I didn't praise every book I read, or if I talked bad about a book, like, somebody would get upset and I would get, like, hate for not liking a book that other people did. And you can't be afraid of that. You have to be yourself, you have to be honest, and you have to have fun with it. And don't think that you have to have, like, a bunch of fancy equipment and a bunch of fancy ideas or anything. I sit here and I film off of my phone. I do this all right off my phone. I do all my editing on, like, a free software thing on my computer. I talk about what I want to talk about. I don't care if a majority of mine are book hauls. I have a problem. It's just do what you want. Make it yours and make it so you have fun. Next question is, do you play any sports? No, I'm not very sportsy. I go hiking with my dad sometimes. He's a huge hiker. and I did play volleyball in school, but besides that, not really. I mean, I admire people that do sports, but I am way too uncoordinated. What is my favorite color? My favorite color is blue. Next question is favorite place that you've vacationed. I honestly haven't traveled that much. I really want to do a trip to Europe sometime in the next few years. It's so expensive to go though. Like, that's the thing. I'm in school, you know, I'm in college paying for it myself, and it's very pricey. So I'd like to save up and go, but I'm not sure. But probably my favorite place that I've gone to so far, somewhere in Mexico. Next question is favorite movie. The first one to pop in mind is The Princess Bride. I really, really love The Princess Bride. That's probably like one of my favorite standalone movies. But like movie series, I might have to go with The Lord of the Rings. I really, really love The Lord of the Rings. Next question is, do you have any strange fears? I'm actually afraid of a lot of things. I am a coward and I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm really deathly terrified of spiders. And probably my strangest fear is mayonnaise. I know that sounds weird and everybody always laughs at me, but it's not that I'm afraid of mayonnaise, but just talking about it, something about mayonnaise makes me super sick. Like, if I think about it, or if people, like, I see people eating it, I will, in full seriousness, puke. Like, I'm not joking. Thinking about it right now, like, my mouth is getting all spitty, like when you're gonna get sick, and my stomach is churning. I don't know what it is, but I am constantly like living in fear of seeing somebody like eating mayonnaise. And last question, can you do a top favorite books? Yes, I will probably be doing sometime soon top favorite books of all time, and then at the end of this year, in a few months, I'll be doing top books of this year so far. Okay guys, so that is the end of all the questions I got asked. I had tons of fun with this, so thank you to everybody that asked me any sort of question, and hopefully I answered all of them. I'm pretty sure I did. Some of them I clumped together, so if you didn't hear your question specifically, I might have just grouped it in with something else. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.